Hello, everybody. So in this video, we are going to learn how to use TI-84 plus family calculator to analyze some kinetics data. Okay, to answer these two questions, we're going to determine the order of the reaction with respect to alanine and also the rate constant. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to go to my uh, emulator of the calculator over here. And then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter my data, right? Do that, press that, and you should have these options. Select the first option, edit. Okay, you can do that by simply pressing the enter button. Okay, and then you just enter the data for the X and Y values here. So in L1, I'm going to enter my my X data. Okay, give me a second. Let me see what I can do here. X values in L1, and then I'm going to have the concentration or the Y values in L2. All right, let's start this. So for L1, the first L value, first time value is 0. So here's 0 and enter. And the second one is 2. And then 4. And then 6. And 8. Enter. And then finally 10. So this is time in years. Okay. So clear that. And then we have 10. Enter. All right. So right now I have my X values or the time values entered in my list 1. And then I'm going to use my arrow keys to move to L2. Okay. And here's the first, the Y value for corresponding to time 0, which is 1.0. So I'm going to enter 1.0, enter, and then 0.8705 for the second one, 0.87. No, I need to clear that. Okay, 0.8. It was 0.8705. Enter. And then we have for time equals 4 years, 0.7578. 0.7578. Enter. And then for 6, we have 0.6597, 0.6597. Enter. For 8, we have 0.5743, 0.5743. Enter. And for 10, we have 0.50, 0.50. Enter. Okay. Now we have our time and concentration values entered, time in list 1 and then concentrations in list 2. Then what I'm going to do is so right now I'm all set for my 0th order plot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have all the data ready even for first order plot and the second order plot. So I'm going to use my up, down, or left, right arrow keys to go to L2 first. Okay. So I use my up arrow key to go to L2 and then the right arrow key to go to L3. Once I'm in L3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the already existing concentration values in list 2 to calculate my L3 values, right? So right now I have L3 is equal to, I'm going to click on second, press the second button. Actually, not now. Let me clear that. Okay, so first, what I want here in L3, the natural log of concentration. So what I want to do is first is click on natural log ln. And now instead of entering a value here, I'm going to click on second or press second and then click on stat. And then here I'm going to go down with my down arrow key to L2 values and then press enter. Okay. Now, then I'm going to close my parentheses and then press enter. It's going to populate the cells with corresponding natural log concentration values for all the L2 values. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing for my second order data. So I'm going to go to L3 first by using my up arrow key, go to right using my right arrow key. So now I'm in L4. Now I have L4 equals. So what I want to do there is I want to have 1 over concentration value. So I'm going to have 1 divided by, I'm going to click on the press the divide sign, and then the concentration values. I'm going to select the L2 for the concentration values. To do that, I'm going to click on second and then stat, and then I'm going to select option 2 by pressing number 2 over here, or you can scroll down to L2 and then hit enter. Okay, now I've selected my L2 values for the concentrations, and then press enter one more time, and it's going to populate my L4 list with my 1 over concentration data. Now I have all the data ready. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to plot them. To do that, I'm going to click on second and then stat plot. In other words, the y equals button here on top of the second button. All right, so that's going to have my stat plot. All right, I see all the plots are off. I want to turn it on first. So let's go to the first plot 1 and press enter. I see it is off now. I'm gonna turn it on by going to the on. When the on the on is blinking. When I'm here, if I press enter, it's gonna turn on plot 1. Okay, and then I'm going to scroll. I see that for my X list, in my type, I have the scatter plot selected. I see that there's no line there. And then for my X list, I have the L1 values, which is the time value. And for my Y list, I have L2 values, which is the concentration values. So it's going to plot concentration versus time, which is my 0th order plot. Okay. And it looks fine. And then I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to press graph, and then I'm going to see my data on the graph. Okay, so it doesn't look nice here because we can zoom in to see the details of this graph. So I'm going to click on or press zoom button over here, and then go to use my down arrow key to go to the option 9, or you can simply press 9 to zoom start, and then press enter. Now I have the zoomed in data nicely plotted on a graph here. Okay, it doesn't look that linear. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the R² value plotted on the graph here. So to get the details, what we want to do is we want to go to stat again, right? And instead of being on edit, I would go to calc by pressing the right arrow key. Now I'm on calc. On calc, I will scroll down to linear regression. That's the 4th option over here, and press enter. X plus b. Okay, I have x values L1, y values L2, and then I can scroll down to L calculations using the down arrow key, and then and press enter. It's going to calculate the slope, or the a value, which is the slope, and also the y-intercept for me. Now you see that it doesn't have other options here, right? It doesn't have like the R squared value here to get an idea about how correlated my data is. So to turn that on, you need to do something. You need to go to the catalog. So how to go to catalog, you press second button and then 0, because you see that in blue we have catalog here above 0. Okay, now I have this. Then here you need to go down to diagnostics. See, I need to turn on the diagnostics. Let's see, should be under D. Okay, down arrow, down, 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 down. Yeah, almost there. There you go. So right now diagnostic is off. I'm going to turn on the diagnostic by going to diagnostic option here, diagnostic on option here, and pressing enter. Okay, and then you press enter again, so that it will turn on the diagnostic option. Okay, now again, if you go to the stat option and then calculation by pressing the right arrow key, and then the linear regression, which is the fourth item, and hit enter, or press enter. And then if you go down to calculate now, okay, you see that I have X and Y values correctly. And then enter, you have your R squared values on your together with this slope and the y-intercept, which is great. This is what we want. All right, now that is the zeroth order plot. All right, so you can if you're in an exam or a quiz, so you can write these values down, especially the R squared value and the slope value, because those are the important values for us when it comes to determining the order, and then also the rate constant. Okay, so for the order, the R squared value should be as close as possible to 1. So that's going to be considered as the most linear. I think I can annotate here. Okay, this value, give me a second. So this value will tell us the order. Okay, for order, this is important. I can't draw here, but anyway, order. And then this value, or the slope value, is used to calculate the rate constant. Okay, anyway, just to remind us about what is involved here. Now this is concentration versus time data, time plot for the zeroth order. Let's plot the first order plot. Okay, so to do that, let's again go to our stat plot, press second, and then y equals, and then press enter to select plot 1. And then here, scroll down to L2, I mean, a Y list. Now, when the L2 is blinking here, we want to replace L2 with L3, because our L3 is natural log of concentrations, right? So I would press second, and then stat. Now I have the list. So from this list, I would select option 3. You can either go down to L3 using a down arrow key and hit enter, or you can just simply press number 3 button on your calculator. Okay, now I have selected L3 data for my Y list. All right, now it looks good. And then I'm going to I just went down to mark as well. We don't have to do that, but anyway, then I'm going to click, I'm going to press graph. Okay, it doesn't show anything. The reason is it's zoomed in an area where our data is not available. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on zoom again, and then I'm going to go to zoom stat option, which is option 9. So I'm going to click 9. Now it's going to show us our data. All right, this is just see the data if you want to see the data. And it's not that important to see the data actually. But anyway, what is important for us is to have the statistics for this, right? So go to stat, and then click on stat, or press stat, and then go to calculate calc, and go down to linear regression, hit enter, And then here in on while list, replace L2 with L3. How do you do that? Press second and then start. And then here, click on the third or select the third option. So I'm gonna press number 3. That selects L3 data for while list, right? And then go down to calculate and then press enter. Here we go. It gives us the slope, which is A, and then the y-intercept, which is B, and then our squared value, which is very close to 1, which is the same result we got in class, right? So just to get the, so now we know that because this is very close to 1, let me try to draw something here. Okay, because this is very close to 1, okay, our ln concentration versus time plot is linear. That tells us our reaction is first order. Okay, it's going to be, I cannot draw here, but I'm going to try it one more time. All right, so we know that our reaction is first order. Oh, wow. Okay. First order. Why? This is the ln concentration versus time data. It is linear because the R squared value is very close to 1. Okay. And also the slope of that graph, which is A value, is equal to, we know, is equal to minus or negative rate constant value. In other words, rate constant is equal to negative slope, which is 0.0693. So the K value should be over here is 0.0693. And then if you can remember, our time data was in years, okay? And then because it's a first order law, first order plot, first order rate constant, our units for the rate constant is 1 over time. So it should be per year. Okay. If we had seconds in our for our time, then it should be per seconds. If we had minutes, it should be per minutes. If we have hours, per hours, and so forth. So yeah, anyway, so this is going to be our rate constant. So we are done. All right, anyway, but just for the completion, let's take a look at our second order plot as well. All right, so we do not have to see the plot all the time. We just need this information in front of us right now. Okay, so the linear regression value for concentration versus time, ln concentration versus time, and 1 over concentration versus time. Let's see if we can directly get the 1 over concentration versus time, linear regression, and the slope. Okay, so to do that again, I would go to stat and then go to calc and then go down to linear regression, or click on 4 basically. And then on while list, okay, replace L3 with L4 values, because our L4 values are 1 over concentration values. All right, to do that, when you're on L3, press second and then stat. This gives you the list, right? And then here you select option 4, right? You can simply press number 4 button on your calculator, or you can just go down to option 4 using your down arrow key and hit enter. Right, now we have selected L4 or 1 over concentration values for while list, and then go down to calculate and then hit enter. There you go, you get the slope and also the R squared value. You see that the R squared value now is 0.9899 something, where it was 0.9999 something for our ln concentration versus time. So the most linear graph was the natural log of concentration versus time. Therefore, that's what we'll be using for our calculation. All right, to calculate the rate constant. Okay, so I think I hope this video helps to calculate or analyze your kinetics data using your calculator. And I have another video where I use Excel to do the same thing as well. I will post them together. All right, bye everybody. I'll see you in class.